Pieces of silver traded in the dust, sold out by the bloodline to the middle of the rust. The Midianite haulers pulled the heavy iron chain, driving through the desert in the middle of the pain. Stripped of the custom rig, left with nothing but the skin, walking into the sprawl where the Egyptian grid begins. At the bottom of the sector, at the bottom of the pile, I'm working for the Syndicate and running every mile. The architect is with me in the middle of the heat, turning every failure into a corporate defeat. Potiphar is watching, he's looking at the books. He sees the blessing coming in the middle of the hooks. I didn't choose the sector, I didn't choose the boss, but I'm counting every profit and I'm cutting every loss. He put me in the penthouse, he put me in the yard. He made me the commander of the entire Syndicate guard. He doesn't check the inventory, he doesn't check the gate, because he knows the architect is carrying the weight. Working for the boss, favored by the maker. Working for the boss. The boss's wife is watching from the high sector floor, waiting for the foreman by the heavy office door. She's looking for a partner to corrupt the holy wire. She's looking for a man to set the contract on the fire. Come and sit beside me, let the heavy business go. But the foreman knows the architect is watching from the glow. Leave the canvas wreck, sprinkle for the door. Don't let the corrupt hands touch the iron anymore. She grabbed me by the collar, she grabbed me by the coat, but I'd rather be a prisoner than a corporate scapegoat. Running through the corridor, sprinting for the light, keeping every ledger absolutely clean and white. She held the canvas jacket, she waited for the man. She told the entire syndicate a dirty lying plan. He left his heavy gear when I started to scream, turning the integrity into a nightmare dream. Potiphar was burning, his anger was a blade. He didn't want to listen to the defense that I made. Lose the coat, keep the soul. Lose the coat. asleep, where the air is running thin and the concrete is deep. No windows to the sector, no sunlight on the floor, just the screaming of the rust on the heavy iron door. They thought the isolation was going to break my mind, but I'm counting every shadow that they left behind. I'm managing the darkness, I'm sorting out the rust, building up a ledger in the middle of the dust. The architect is with me beneath the heavy grate, and now I hold the keys to the subterranean gate. The warden doesn't check the heavy iron anymore, because the favorite of the maker is running the floor. When I lost the canvas coat, I didn't let the poison get inside my heavy throat. You can lock me in the pit, you can throw away the key, but the sovereign of the grid is still standing next to me. I'm organizing scrap, I'm setting up the line, waiting for the architect to give the heavy sign. Hold the keys, walk the dark, hold the keys. The chief of the cup and the chief of the bread, sitting in the cell with the terror in their head. They saw the heavy visions in the middle of the night, encrypted by the maker in a terrifying light. We saw the heavy branches, we saw the heavy bird, but nobody can translate the maker's heavy word. Give me the encryption, tell me what you saw. The architect alone can interpret every law. The cupbearer saw the vine and the blossom on the wood. In 3 shifts the CEO will say your ledger's good. You're going back to work, you're pouring out the wine, stepping right back into the Syndicate's design. Shaking, he's looking at the floor. I had 3 heavy baskets right beside the door. The birds were eating bread from the top of my head. Joseph looked him in the eye, and this is what he said: the audit is a failure. The contract is done. In 3 shifts they'll hang you up to rot beneath the sun. 2 heavy audits. Read the code. Cake. He sends the enforcers to the sub-level floor, and they drag the 2 executives straight out of the door. The cupbearer smiles, he gets his heavy gold chain, but the baker is looking at a ledger of pain. The 3 heavy baskets, the terrifying toll, the maker put a boot right on top of your soul. They drag them to the gallows in the middle of the dust, and hung him on a girders made of completely rusted iron. The scavengers are coming from the top of the sky, and the foreman told him exactly how he was going to die. Sugarcoat the audit, I didn't soften the blow. I told him the exact thing that the architect wanted to show. You can't bargain with the maker when the numbers are red. When the ledger is audited, the worker is dead. The contract is ripped, the signature burns, and the dust of the grid is where the body returns. canvas coat back on. He buttoned up the shirt. He promised he would pull me from the middle of the dirt. I'll tell the heavy CEO, I'll mention your name. I'll tell him you're a master of the Syndicate game. He walked up the stairs to the top of the tower and completely forgot me in a fraction of an hour. Sitting in the concrete, staring at the wall, waiting for the manager to make the heavy call. But the corporate amnesia is a terrible disease. When the executives are drinking and living at ease. 2 full years in the middle of the black, and I realize that the cupbearer is never coming back. Don't put your heavy trust in the word of a man. He'll drop you from his memory the second he can. He took his executive suite, he took his heavy gold, and left me in the sub-basement shivering and cold. But the architect is watching from the top of the grid, and he hasn't forgotten a single thing that I did. Wait on the maker. The manager forgets.